So the Alesis MIDIVERB was the first reverb released under $1,000, digital reverb released, and it's underlooked gem. So I captured some impulse responses. I wanted to show how well they actually compared to the actual physical device, because a lot of people have this idea that you can't actually capture good impulses or algorithmic reverbs, and frankly that's not true. You know, LTI theory, because you know there's literally only LTI things inside there. There could be a noise gate. The nonlinear is difficult to capture, but yeah, it's not really too much, because I actually captured the gated reverb pretty well, because you can actually capture those because it just cuts off at the end. So you just basically truncate the impulse response to 0 at that point. That's what ends up happening with your sweep. So yes, for me, give me the whole lecture on LTI theory. Let me just play this guitar. Okay, let's give you the clean tone. So as you can see, it is as dry as a bone. And now we're going to start with the first small preset, which is subtle. This device can actually be subtle. Once again, this was going to be the reverb inside of your home studio. They didn't want it to sound bad. They wouldn't have released it. They wouldn't have sold as many. People always like to think, oh, Lexicon dominated the 80s. But unless you could afford a car priced reverb, you probably didn't own a Lexicon. And even the PCM 60 actually has the same combination of presets. So this was a very competitive reverb when it came out. So MIDIVERB feed refers to the actual device, the actual hardware. So this is the first preset. So when you turned it on, this is what you were getting. As you can see, it's subtle, but let me turn it off again to just give you an idea what it sounded like. Now I'm going to switch to this track. Impulse verb is literally the convolved impulse of this first preset. Oh geez, I was like, this doesn't sound like that. I have it on 25. I re-recorded this a bunch of times, so forgive me. I'm going to do the first preset. So it's just a little bit of ambience. It can do subtle and it can do very big too. So let me go to something that's a little less subtle. We are going to do. Let's see. This has dark. Okay. Let's do 14, which is. 14 is here. I'll read it off here. It's 1 second reverb, medium room, and it is warm. So the MIDIVERB it's sorted by response, the reverberation time, and the coloration of it. So you get a warm, bright, and dark. Most of the time you only get a warm and bright, but some of the presets have dark that I'll go into. Let's see. And unfortunately, it doesn't give you every room size of bright and dark. It's the MIDIVERB gives you what it gives you, and you take it. That's the type of device, but it's a nice device. Okay. So it's a preset in a box sort of scenario. So you get all these different presets, but you don't get to change them all, which sounds terrible, but honestly, mix is what's tweaked a lot. Getting it into the region is pretty good, and then you can use your device to play with it and EQ. Like it's actually pretty useful. So let's start with the hardware first. Okay, so just so you can hear, there is reverberation on this. It's light, it's subtle. It's not this overbearing, just awful like color thing. It is a subtle thing. It's very interesting because this device, it's quoted frequency responses to about 10 kilohertz, but when you actually play with it, that doesn't really limit you. I mean, for instance, the guitar really only goes up to about 15K in a lot of cases once you put like the speaker on it. So it actually is there. It's nice because it gives you the space and it gets most of the range, but it doesn't overpower, and that's really nice because that's what you want. You want it to be versatile. You don't want to just be like, here's the sound. Like, it can give you that sound because this isn't going to be the world's super awesome, amazing, like realistic, but it gives you a sound and it gives you something good, and you just type it in, which is what also makes it great for capturing for impulse responses, because here's that exact sound. This is what it is, and you get to tweak it. So now time to do the software. Hardware. Software. So I'm now going to go to a preset 15, and I will use some distortion too. Preset 15 is large and bright, so this will have more high frequency content. And let me drag this in for the comparison. In that software, now let's go to hardware. And okay, I'm bouncing around doing this live, so let me also give you a keyboard, because I'm trying to make sure you get an idea of how it sounds. So here, this is the realistic keys, and this is their sample off of Bosendorfer. Yeah, that little warble is because the launch key, when you bring it up, it leaves the module fixed. So if I had it up last time I played, but here we go. I'm going to play it again. And this is going through the real hardware. Now let's go through the software. And let's switch back to hardware. And here is a dry to give you an idea of actually what it sounds like without anything. You can hear it on the decay that it's missing something, but it's much harder to tell because you have the sympathetic strings in the piano. We all know how, when you lift the sustain pedal, how it sounds like it's in this big room. So I also have a synth sound, so let me play that. Let me play it dry for you. And now we are going to play it through the hardware. Yeah, it really does a lot for synthesizer. Like it adds a lot of depth. It's one of those things where it seems like you just get this in your face, but it's subtle, but it's very powerful. Interestingly enough, it's actually not true stereo. It actually mixes it, so when you get these, it will only have 2 channels instead of 4 channels because they're not actually different. But you still get the sense of space, especially when you mix it in. So here is the computer. Now, the hardware again. And the software. And so yeah, it adds this nice sense of space. Here I have some drum samples. So this is from a DMX. Oh wait, you gotta get in range. Live. Hardware. Okay, now it is time for software. So as you can see, it really does a lot. Like it adds space. I have a 909 too, so get that more synth sound. Let me make this dry for you. Yeah, nice kick. Okay, here's hardware. Yeah, this is a little long for the 909. But here, this is going to be the software version. So it was clipping a little bit, so it did give you that sound, which is a desired sound, but you can clip it your preset. It's the problem when I'm playing sounds with the computer back out, setting the gain exactly right. I have the synth feeds down too, but here, let me bring it down just a tad. So that's the hardware. And here's the software. So you can see it has a versatile sound, and the impulses sound very much like the device, but you can't always get the grit. But like, if I overdrive the focus right, you can get a nice grit. I mean, that's what Black Dog from Led Zeppelin was driving the mixer. So here, let's venture into the greater depths of the device, and let's go for something much longer. I'm going to go now, finally, into the middle column, which are much longer reverberation. Let's go. Okay. We're going to go 36, and then you'll get to hear the difference between a same room, but one is bright and one is not. So. Thrilling. And I will actually give you some distortion because I've been saying this. So this is 3 seconds. So this is like a very reverberant concert hall. Oh man, wait, let's listen to that. Okay, let me run it only through the hardware, but just listen to that. Yeah, one of the cool things about the MIDIVERB is because the internal processing is only 10-bit, you get this nice, big, lush reverberation, but then it fades off quickly. And so you can get that nice, big sound, but without it dominating. So, if you're doing something like... It's still there, but it's not dominating. So if you want to do fast playing, I do not have a pick near me. Welcome to live demos. Okay, I'll grab a pick. Give me a second. Back on with the headphones. So not really dominating, and let's listen to the software version. So because they're level match, I level match them out with white noise. So you don't have to worry about the level coloring its reception. So. I want to say one of the big differences, though, when you capture the impulse response compared to when you capture, well, when you're just using the device, is I use 5-minute sweeps on these. Yeah, this is crazy. I was up late doing that, so yikes. But so there isn't noise on the impulse response. And the important thing to note about the MIDIVERB is actually inside of the device, like it's not that noisy. Like if I switch to the device right now, because once again they're level matched, I mean my microphone's sound is going to dominate more of it, but it's really quiet. But what ends up happening is the MIDIVERB uses there's actually a whole breakdown of this guy who reverse engineers a MIDIVERB. I suggest you watch that. I'll link that if I remember, or remind me in the comments. But it uses a successive approximation DAC, so it literally does not actually have any what is it? Digital to analog. It just has two analog to digital, so it's playing out as approximation. So that actually leads there to be noise. If you look at if I showed you the sweeps, you could actually see the noise, and the impulse doesn't have that, which allows you to get a lot more crisper tails with the impulse, which can lead to a little bit of difference, but it sounds nice. So that's hardware. Let's do software. So I also have a Amp Tweaker Fat Metal Pro, so I'm going to switch to that to, give more characters that you can listen to. I'd played the drums and stuff, but like it's gonna sound terrible. You don't want to hear drums in like a 3-second room. It has a gated setting, so I will play it through that. The gated reverb, it's a taste. So let's turn it back on, and let's turn the Fat Metal on. Let me not try to chug. As you can hear that like terrible noise, that is literally just caused by a recording. I cannot guess that. Let me put it to the humbucking setting, but so that's the not reverberated, definitely not clean Fat Metal. And now we're going to do software, and this is 36 again. Now we're going to do hardware, and it's funny, my volume pedal is just right out of my reach because this would be perfect for swells, but I have a volume knob, so. So let's play a synthesizer through this, since you know we have a new reverberation time. This will give you a good. So this is hardware, and this is the same synth patch. You hear that nice wobble? That is caused by the round off errors. Some people call it grainiest, but I call it wobble. Now let's do it through hardware. It's funny how the mod wheel really gives it that 1960s, like, ooh, cheesy alien coming. I mean, that sounds pretty good. You have to admit, that sounds pretty good. I'm just gonna say that. Okay, let's do piano. And we're gonna do it through software. But notice how it dried out when I started playing it harder and just letting it fade off. That is one of the characteristics of the MIDIVERB, since it has limited dynamic range. But it's also such a cool sound. Okay. There we go. I was like, I played something. Now let's, give it that real too low shift. That's hardware, and now software. Yeah, giving that nice, that nice, little horror, very reverberant. So let's go to 37, which is literally the exact same thing, except this is warm, so it'll have less high frequencies. as I'm literally on the device where it's unchanged. Live. I'm not, this is clearly not pre-recorded because I messed up a bunch of times already. So. I also had the mod wheel on, so you heard the little chorus sing. That is software, and now let's do 37 hardware. As you can see, there's a lot less high frequency content, but it sounds very realistic and very spacious, and that's one of the like very cool things about it. Like it's not gonna give you these perfect early reflections, but it gives you that sound that you need. Like you're like, I want the sound for of a 80's TV movie. Boom, right there. That's what it was. They weren't affording a lexicon when they were doing that TV movie. That's why it was for a TV movie, not for a actual movie or, scoring a television show. You're welcome. They weren't using lexicons. They're using a MIDI verb. They'll claim they're using a lexicon, but they can afford a car reverb. So I'm going to now. I guess no. Let me play the synth through it too. That bloom on is really great. So that's hardware. Let's listen to software. Let's do something low now to, give that nice, warm sound that we're used to. Okay. Probably shouldn't talk during the tail. Let me redo that again. And now hardware. Software. Yeah, it's very, sort of, creepy sort of sound. It really goes up there. So I'm going to, jump all the way up to extra large dark, which gives you 20 seconds. I mean, it's just amazing, you know, this little device. So yes, let's do it now. This is preset 50, so I can give you the range, then I can get into the special ones. Okay. As you can see, dragging them live. So let's, I want to do a piano to get that, like, you know, nice long sound. I'm gonna do something high, so. I'm sorry, that was both of them. Yikes, mistake. But you get the length. Okay, here. This is software. Now hardware. Okay, and so let me play the guitar over here and do a nice volume swell. Very good for the droney sound. So that was hardware. Let's do software. I tried to find that high one. Can play harmonics too. You're welcome. And so that was software. It's a nice thing. So let's get into the gated reverbs. This is a choice thing. I will play the 909 through it, but I'm gonna be honest, the 909 sounds meh through it. So 51 is gated. And let me drag that. 0.1 seconds and gated. So this is what a gated reverb looks like. And while you're thinking, the gated reverb has dynamics, Phoenix. Your impulse response can't actually capture that. That's non-linear. And it's like, the important thing to remember, it's actually cut off. So I can capture the linear section and then it's 0. So it actually will sound pretty close. That's why I'm going to demonstrate it for you. But good knowledge on LTI systems. I'm proud of you. So this is through the device. And this is the DMX kit. Oh, yep. Well, let me be in the range for the samples. This is the snare drum. And that's actually with it. Here's dry. So you don't get that, nice, 80's snare. And so now when I put it back on, you'll get the 80's snare again, but in software. And notice, importantly, that, what is it? The Lexicon PSIM60 did not have a gated reverb. So this would have been a big selling sound, in the 80's. Like this, you would not need a compressor to get a gated reverb sound. You could literally just get this. So that was a big selling point. So I'm going to now put it on the 909. And that was software. Let's do hardware. So, yep. So, I am now going to go up to one of the higher presets, which I feel like it falls apart on somewhat, but I'm also not the biggest gated reverb fan. So, man. Okay, now let me set the hardware to, this is preset 59. And we are playing through hardware. That's a lot. Let's do a hat. Now we're gonna do a DMX. If we're gonna rock now. Yeah, that's a lot. Not my favorite sound. Maybe you're like, I know exactly how to use that, but yeah, not me. Here, I'm going to now play through the software. Honestly, it sounds pretty good on the hat, actually. I could actually get behind that. That sounds pretty cool. And that's software. Let's do hardware. And this is the DMX, which, yes, the DMX sounds a lot better with the cadence than the 909. Okay, and now finally it is on to the reverses. I've literally not listened to this because, like, in the 80s reverse is cool, but like now I literally can just flip a switch, so like why wouldn't I just put reverse on extra large? But we're gonna do it for completeness sake. Okay. So we're just gonna go to 63 for the longest reverse, and I'm gonna drag that in there, and then you can be on your merry way. And, you know, check him out. The impulses, they should be at a pretty good price. They'll definitely be under 50. So, huzzah! Okay, hardware reverse. That's a pretty cool trippy sound. I like that. Software. I may have to crop this by hand because I was using more LTI theory, the Parversal theorem, to cut it so that the total energy sum was below the machine precision. And the problem is it cuts for the back. So as you can see, this is too long. So I'm going to cut that before I push it out. But here you go. Yep, the reverse is pretty cool. I'm gonna admit that, but you can reverse any of the presets. Let me do some of the earlier presets, but with drums, so you can actually get more of an ambient. Because basically, about 1 second, the drums are meh. So. Let's do Priest 11 Small Bright. And this is the hardware, and we're going to use a DMX. Okay, and now let's do software. Okay, and I'm going to give you the dry again so you can get an idea. So as you can see, that's the Alesis MIDIVERB, and I hope you check out my impulses. Obviously, you know, your boy tried to sell them, but it's a really cool device. I really recommend you check out the series where a guy talks about reverse engineering, because it's very fascinating how they actually hit it, you know, the price target. I also have taken it apart. I might upload that video, it might not, but the important thing to actually note is on the MIDIVERB there's only 2 levels to indicate, but in the plastic there's actually 3 holes. So I think it was supposed to be a red, yellow, and green for levels, but you know, you have to hit the price targets when you want to hit under $1,000, and they were very ingenious with this device, and it's something I really admired, and I want more people to hear it sound and actually what older reverb sounds like. It's not all just lexicon.